Hi, I'm Bill Bradley. Join me for a recent excerpt of American Voices. The sound of the morning alarm clock, stumbling into the kitchen, drinking coffee as soon as possible. For some people, mornings can be tough.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say it's all right.
My guest today found a way to put a little sparkle into his mornings. He gets up early, goes outside, and takes a picture of the sunrise. Been doing it every morning since 2019. Every morning.
Good morning from the beautiful shores of Lake Superior. This morning is sunrise 2204. And it's a nice morning out.
Photographer Bugsy Sailor is here with me now. Bugsy, welcome to American Voices.
Hey, thank you for having me, Senator.
Before you started doing this, were you a morning person?
No, I was not a morning person at all. I am now, but I would say that it is a morning person through brute force. It is a difficult, it's still difficult for me every morning.
Well, what was going on in your life that made you come up with this idea? How did you think of it?
Well, it was a New Year's tradition that every January 1st for 5 or 6 years, I would get up, take a small road trip somewhere around the Great Lakes, and watch the first sunrise of the year. And I loved it. It was a great tradition. I was tired of the late night New Year's Eve party and wanted to do the exact opposite. And I loved it, but I would hardly touch my camera. I wouldn't do it from one January 1st to the next. So 2019 came around and I made it a New Year's resolution to watch and photograph every sunrise of 2019.
Well, did you have any guidelines for yourself? I mean, pictures have to be taken outside. Did you have to travel? What else?
The guidelines were fairly small. It was about getting back outside every day. The goal in general is try to be to a location somewhere outdoors 20 minutes before sunrise, which is when you get those beautiful colors when they come in. But really, take a photo, be outside, be present in nature, and make that the starting point of every day.
What was it like in the beginning when you first started? This was an idea, and now you begin it. There's the world that's coming to you now, and how did it make you feel?
I didn't know if I could do it. It sounded like a daunting challenge. So I got through January, which January in the Upper Peninsula and Lake Superior is not a forgiving place to begin a project like this. But it really became it was probably 6 months before I became a morning person. And it just became such a part of my daily ritual and daily experience.
Is this all you, or now that this has gotten around, do people suggest places for you?
People suggest all the time, and I try to travel, but it is mostly a solo endeavor. It's really, I have to be extroverted in a lot of my life. So this is my introverted opportunity to reset, get grounded, get back to the earth. So it's usually a solo experience. Sometimes I'll bring friends or have a special occasion where people join. But I'm always open to new suggestions. It's mostly been a Great Lakes, Lake Superior project, Midwest project. But this last year for the 2000th sunrise, I took a big road trip and made it to the ocean for the first time since this project began and found myself in the Charleston, South Carolina area.
Tell us some of your favorite sunrises.
It seems such maybe a cliche to say, but the first was so magical. And there's a viral YouTube video from years ago called The Double Rainbow. And this guy's crying at Yosemite. But that first one was my quote, double rainbow moment. You know, I wanted to do cartwheels up and down the beach. It's hard to believe how another 1,000 sunrises came and went. But having that 2000 sunrise, I made a big fuss of it, made a little campaign to raise a little money and take a road trip for 10 or 11 nights down to South Carolina, where I did 3 sunrises on the ocean, but it also brought me through the Smoky Mountains, where I did 2 sunrises, and just phenomenal experience in the Smoky Mountains.
Were there any sunrises that you did not enjoy? I mean, I guess weather could possibly interfere.
I had an extremely tough one just this week. I play men's league beer hockey, and I got a little beat up this last week and feeling some shoulder pain. And I'm thankful to be able-bodied and be in good health and do this every morning, but this week was painful. It is difficult to get up out the door. I had my bout with COVID, which was difficult to motivate, but I still forced myself to get up, get out the door. There's some weeks that are just so challenging.
During COVID, you did? You kept going.
Yeah, yeah, and COVID was a big turning point. I had COVID myself, and I still forced myself to get up and out the door and restless nights, but COVID itself was a big turning point. I had just finished the 2019, I was still doing it, but it gave me something to focus while the world was shut down, something to focus on that was positive, kept active, kept getting outside.
So, you have your camera, and I guess sometimes you have a tripod, and you're out on the water or close to water. Do you ever have any accidents?
Yes, people think of sunrise as such a beautiful, innocent, peaceful experience, but that's just not the case, especially on the shores of Lake Superior. There was one morning where I'll say it was shallow ice, but I went through some shallow ice about knee deep, and I lunged forward and landed where the head of my tripod went right into my gut, nearly knocked myself out, or lost my wind, I should say. And my lens fell out of my pocket and into Lake Superior, and it was it was an ordeal. And it's freezing cold water. This is in the middle of February or March, freezing temperatures. Had to fish the lens out of the cold water, and eventually gained my breath once again. But there's been other incidents with tripods where I accidentally hit myself in the face, and here I am walking back from sunrise with a bloody nose. And like, how is this part of the sunrise experience?
So, for people who have not experienced the Upper Peninsula or Lake Superior, tell us what it's like. I mean, in different months.
Yeah, this is a remote part of the country. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, while it is 30% of the landmass of Michigan, it is only 3% of the population. So it's rural, and most of it hugs the shoreline of Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake in the world. And we like this having 2 inches, 300 inches of snow in the course of a winter is common. It is there will be 8 months of we'll have snowfall in October and potentially snowfall in May. So there's 8 months of the year where snowfall is a potential for it. It is unforgiving. Lake Superior can be a brutal place. There are wind chills that are, negative 35-degree wind chills. And only recently, it's 2 weeks ago, less than that, I had to trudge through, 16 inches of fresh snow at the end of March, being the first one on the road each morning. The roads aren't plowed. So getting to sunrise if I'm driving can, be an adventure. So it's not an easy place.
Well, so are there other lakes or mountains that you've loved that you visited in the mornings? Not just Lake Superior, but other places?
There's a few. I get to my brother's place in central Wisconsin a couple times a year, and there's a place called Blue Mountain State Park, which I just frequently started editing some photos from there, and it's always a place I love to get to. So I love to go inland away from the lake when I can. There is farmland up here inland from the lake I love to get to.
Is there a book, or, I mean, where do you find out where the best sunrises are?
There's a lot of research, and I like to go to the quiet places. I was at the Smoky Mountains this last summer, and there was 50 people, at Klingman's Dome in this tiny little spot. It's a little claustrophobic for me for an experience that's meant to be very um, getting in touch with my soul and my spirit a little more. It's so much research. That same trip to South Carolina, I forgot, being a Great Lakes kid, I forgot about these things called tides, which really changed up with my plans of, where the high tide was going to be, and forgetting to check tide charts when I'm on the ocean. So it's a totally different experience. And then one high on my list is Cadillac Mountain in Maine.
Yeah, I know that.
Which
I
is
know that place. It's amazing.
Yeah, the first place to see sunrise in the United States, and it's been on my list for a long time, and I dream of a road trip where I start at Cadillac Mountain in Maine and work my way south through various places,
Mhm.
rural or in the city. I'd love to be in New York City for a sunrise as well.
Well, you should come. Let me know if you come. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
go
I'd,
with
I'd
you.
I'd love to. We have something here in Marquette called Orhenge. There's this old ore dock that's 1,000 feet long, and twice a year the sun rises directly down the middle of it.
Hmm.
And we'll get 50 people or something out there. It's really wonderful, kind of a delight.
So you've been doing this every morning since 2019. Have you ever missed a morning?
Do we have to talk about that?
Well, it's up to you. I don't want to push you too much. I mean, I'm not
No,
trying to expose
I'm
you,
ju-
but at the same time, I would like to know. And people are curious
yeah.
every morning. Come on, you
I'm
never were sick. You never.
I'm joking here, but I think I've gotten
I
over it.
am
But in
too.
the last 6+ years, I've missed one sunrise, and it was a
One.
traumatic one sunrise. So it's
Wow.
a 99.9% success rate or whatever it is. And it was a traumatic morning, and it was the most simple thing. I watched 1,718 consecutive sunrises, which is just shy of 5 years. And I was thinking sunrise 2000. I'm in the zone. I'm just feeling it right now. I thought 2000 consecutive, not a problem. And then one morning, my alarm didn't go off. My phone died overnight, which I use for my alarm. And I woke up in a fully bright, sunny room, which I hadn't done for nearly 5 years. And it was sad. It was really sad to miss that one for such a simple thing. And I wrote this long, sappy post about it. And a lot of my friends, one lady in town sent me flowers and everything. But
Mourning the record.
yeah, yeah, and it was a bummer. I didn't think that would happen, but it was a little reality check of life. And I have this motto that the sun still rises, and
Yeah,
sure
right.
enough, the sun still came up that day. It continues to come up whether I'm out there or not, and that's a wonderful thing. But I have to remind myself is whatever adversities life throws at you, the sun still rises.
That's a great thing to remember. That's a great thing to remember. I can't tell you, Bugsy, how much I value what you just said. Now, often we
Thank
get
you.
all tied up in our own situation, a world, the problems, etc. But the sun rises every day. Okay, I got it. I think I'm going to remember that one.
It's a reminder on those gray days too. I'm out there every day, no matter how beautiful or how gloomy or how rainy or how snowy. But on the gray days, that's when it's important to remember the sun still rises.
Hmm.
Happy winter solstice. We're about to go see Lake Superior. About 15-minute climb to the top. Excited for this one. Little fresh layer of snow. All right, let's get to it. Time for sunrise. Oh, we've got first tracks out here. 2 or 3 inches, maybe 4 inches of fresh snow. Time is, I don't know, 8:04, 8:05. So I've got ample time, about 25 minutes to sunrise, and it's about a 10-minute walk to the top. But it is another beautiful winter morning. Looks like I was wrong about first tracks. Looks like a rabbit beat us to it. All right, just a couple more staircases to go. The summit is right there. We're almost to the top. All right, we've made it to the summit of Sugarloaf for winter solstice. Oh, I gotta say, I'm feeling alive. Oh, this one woke up the soul, woke up the spirit. It'll live within me for the day, if not longer. Beautiful out here in the woods with the fresh snow. Love this one. Feels good. Winter is here. Happy first day of winter. We will see you soon. All right. Bye.
Bugsy, after doing this for, around 6 years, has it had an effect on you in any way? I mean, how does this experience add to your life? I mean, you might have started it to combat whatever, boredom, loneliness, but what's been the effect on your life?
It's been an enormous, wonderful impact. I've really set out to kind of get grounded and back to nature and just be present in my life. And having this ritual every day allows me to do that and kind of show up the best person I can be. Certainly, there are still hard days, but it is a life where I have chosen to seek beauty every day. And the
Hmm.
amount of beauty I have seen in the last 6 years is incredible. It's hard to put words to. I've seen the most beautiful sunrises imaginable, and that's not by chance. It's because I've chosen to be there every single day, no matter what. And that's the only way you can promise to see a good sunrise is to choose to be there. But it is really allowed me to connect with a lot of people here locally in the community and people far away. And I see sunrise as such an awesome opportunity for empathy because it is something that we all experience every day. And it's an opportunity to slow down, appreciate life, appreciate the beauty around us. And it's been a daunting project, a daunting undertaking, but so much beauty has come of it.
Bugsy, what you just said, I think is really important. And I think it's important for all of us. I mean, we might not get up every morning and shoot the sunrise, but each of us can seek beauty in our lives every day. That's a great idea that you've shared with us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you putting it that way. For all of us who've listened to you and been inspired by your story, and they maybe want to wake up early and try something in the morning, or maybe they want to try something later, what advice do you have?
The One of the big rules that started for me at the beginning is make sunrise the destination. I think so much of our lives we experience sunrise in passing. We'll see it from our window while we're waking up. We'll see it from the kitchen a table or from the sink while washing dishes or preparing food for the day, whatever it might be, or on our drive or commute to work. But I think the best experience of sunrise is making it the destination. That is the thing you are going out to see. It is not something that you witness on your way to work, but you are pausing on your way to work. Go out of your way, watch the sunrise, make it the destination, and pause for even a few minutes before the day begins. So I think that intentionality of it,
Hmm.
of making the sunrise or nature and any other parts of the day, make that the destination.
Well, Bugsy, thanks so much for being here on American Voices. I mean, I think you've made your mornings a little sunnier, and I think that you'll inspire others too.
I sure hope so. Thank you, Senator Bradley. It's an honor.
I've been speaking with photographer Bugsy Sailor. To find out more, visit us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is American Voices with Senator Bill Bradley. On Instagram, it's Bill Bradley on Sirius XM. Thanks so much, Bugsy.
Thanks so much. Have a great day. I appreciate it. It's a beautiful day. The waves at Black Rocks are stunning. It just feels good. This gets me all fired up, gets my adrenaline going. These are the mornings I live for. I'm so amped right now. Enjoy the views.
All this beauty, you might have to close your eyes.
Thank you for listening to American Voices here on my YouTube channel. For more interviews celebrating the goodness and creativity of the American people, click the subscribe button below.